everybody. Victor Brooks here from the Victor Brooks Show Facebook Live Quarantine Series. And it's the weekend. You know, every Saturday and Sunday we've been coming at you. Oh, let me start my watch party. And that's a reminder of everybody else to try to start yours too, if you can. Wendy is always on me about, hey, Uncle Vic, start that party. So we can, here we go, start. It's on. We just like to do that so we can continue to spread that love to as many people as we can. You know, this is the Positivity Posse Hour on the Victor Brooks Show Quarantine Series. And as always, we thank every one of you in the Positivity Posse there for taking your time to come on and just, you know, share this with us. This time with us, this, like we like to say, this getaway, this positive getaway with us. On this journey. And, you know, we all know what's happening in the world right now. The world is crazy, y'all. We're dealing with a lot of things that a lot of us and multi-generationally never thought that we would deal with, you know, but it's here. We're in the thick of it. But there's always something to be positive about. There's always something we can smile about. You know, like I say, every time I have the opportunity and blessing to open my eyes in the morning, that starts my positivity. When I take my foot and put it down on the floor and walk to where I need to go, hey, that's a positivity right there in itself. And, you know, it's time maybe we can start counting the blessings seen and unseen. I ain't a preacher, far from it. But this is just what I'm coming from my heart. You know that's me. And we're dealing with the two viruses, y'all. This coronavirus that's out here. That's kind of put everybody's life on pause, you know? It's kind of made us sit back and like I say, pause for a minute to try to maybe make some calls to some people we haven't talked to in a while that, you know, we both need to hear each other's voices and feel our energies and maybe read that book or finish that project or just sit back and introspect, you know? Those are positivities during this time. And of course, that second virus of racism that's been here generationally, you know, especially here in the United States of America. Unfortunately, like I said, we've been dealing with that second virus. But, you know, my positivity through that is when I look on there and I saw those young people out there protesting who set this journey of protest up for us. You know, our young people, they got something to say. You know, we did. Everybody, when we were their age, we had our angers, we had our confusements. We had something that we needed explained to us and that we felt we needed to explain to somebody else. Much love and much respect to y'all. In my generation and older right now, it's not just become us, meaning our Black community protesting, but this thing is multicultural, y'all. It's crossing all boundaries. It's crossing all boundaries that many of us never thought would have ever been crossed. It's a coming together, you know? And that's a positivity and a hope for me. We have, yes, people that I have to give thanks to every time we come on. And that's our first responders, our doctors, our nurses, you know, the people in the hospital and medical fields, the EMTs, those that are putting their lives on the line to save the lives, you know. Thank y'all so much for what you're doing. We want to thank our market workers. We want to thank everybody, our truck drivers, our sanitation engineers that are still doing their thing. Everybody that's trying to make life as normal as they can make it for all of us, you know? I want to thank our positive police enforcement because there are positive police officers out there doing their thing and dedicating their life. The only thing we ask is that the positive police officers put a foot to the ones that are negative, put a foot to the ones that are messing it up for everybody else, you dig? Because we thank you for what you do for us. Thank you, fire department. Thank you, everyone, once again, who's putting their self frontline for us. You know, we had an incredible conversation just an hour ago with the fascinating and always real Mickey Howard. You know, Mickey came through and gave Mickey. She Mickey'd us as only Mickey can do, and the wisdom and the love and the realness that Mickey spread to us today. Mickey, again, thank you for coming, sister. Thank you, Mickey. we took it with us, we put it in our journey basket and we're moving on, and what it is that we need in addition to in our life. We thank you so much. And today, y'all, I have a mixed positive basket going on in my soul right now, because for one, I was introduced to these young ladies through an incredible friend that goes back with my brother, Miss Dee Dee, and my brother, Christopher Brooks, back in the 80s and 90s of Los Angeles. And when Dee Dee brought Kim and Kandy, and I'm going to say when Dee Dee brought Kim and Kandy into my life, an additional journey of positivity started with me, with Victor Brooks. And there was no way that I was not going to, as quick as I could, plug Kim and Kandy into the positivity posse chord of positivity around the world. Many of you saw the clips that I posted of their video Free, which I cannot wait to get into that conversation with Kim and Kandy today. But the reception just of the clip of the video of the song Free by Kim and Kandy sparked a positivity around the world, and rightfully so. When you hear the history and the background of the foundation of this song, and then you coincide that with the incredible journey of Kim and Kandy as artists, you'll see why the power hit even in other languages that maybe we're not able to understand what the lyrics were. But then even more of what the lyrics of this song, of those of us who did understand it, it took it to that next level. Let me give you a little bit here of Miss Kim and Kandy. Raised in California, Kim and Kandy have always been interested in music. They began singing in church around the age of 5. Gospel tunes were a niche for them. Performing in the church's youth group was always a thrill for them, and it was what really sparked their passion for singing. They began performing and touring with various gospel artists like Shirley Caesar and Andrae. Come on. In 1989, they decided to group up with their sister Krystal Johnson to form the Johnson Sisters. They were able to perform with many prestigious artists: Michael Jackson, Ray Charles, the Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire, and many, many others. In 2004, the Johnson Sisters were nominated for a Grammy for their Dreamworks recording Busted. Come on, y'all remember that tune. It's still on a playlist to this day. The Johnson Sisters also had many important appearances on shows like the Oprah Winfrey Show, Soul Train, General Hospital, BET 106 in Park, Ally McBeal, and so many more. Now, Kim and Kandy have decided to take a new approach and launch a singing career with one another. They have They have a soulfully country vibe, is what I'd like to say, that can't be replicated, really drawing the people into their unique sound. Currently, they are working on writing and recording a new album to share with the world very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Victor Brooks Show. I'd like to welcome Miss Kim and Kandy. Are you on camera, ladies? Hello?
We're here.
There you go. Kim and Kandy, thank you so much for taking the time out of here. I see in the back there, you're working. You on the grind. You're in the studio as we speak. Thank you for taking your time to come on today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, my pleasure, my pleasure. And where are you located right now? Where are you recording?
We're both in St. Louis, Missouri, here at my home.
Okay, okay. In the Lou. I got my family who's clicking in from the Lou right now in St. Louis.
Hey!
What's happening, Uncle Butch? His church is there, and Trina and everybody, much love. And I love St. Louis. I grew up in Memphis. So in the summers, we would go see family at the Lou and then up in Chicago,
Okay. Yep. All next door.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. So being from California, you were born and raised in LA or California? Give us that.
Yeah, we were both raised in California. We grew up in Gardena, Linwood, and then my parents moved to Moreno Valley, California, where they still have their home there.
Okay. So coming from California and then to St. Louis, what was that transition like? You pointed at her.
Oh man, it was definitely a different pace. California is fast paced and there's so much to get into. When I came here, I was almost like,
she married into it.
Well,
she married into it.
Yeah, my husband is the reason why I ended up here.
Right.
And it was different. Because I had left my whole family, everyone was back there. And so I was a little sad for a while. And, St. Louis has, since 20 years from now, 20 years ago, have gotten a lot better.
A whole lot.
With the restaurants and,
Okay.
they didn't even have Nordstrom's. And that was that was my first job. I worked at Nordstrom's and I'm like, y'all don't even have a Nordstrom's. Get it together.
Right, I got you. So and you mentioned that marriage took you there off the bat. You are married to Ronald Isley of the Isley Brothers.
Yes.
Much respect to the lineage and legacy of Brother Ron Isley and all of the Isley Brothers. I mean, that is a foundation right there. Foundation system, And so you, and now you don't live in, Kim, you don't live in St. Louis, right?
No, I do not. I'm
Okay.
still in California.
Yeah.
And we try to make it work from her being here and then me being in California.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I try to get here as much as I can, and we'll both meet and go to Nashville. So yeah, I'm still in California.
You just travel back and forth.
I just travel back and forth.
Well, you know what? And so let's go back to the California days of growing up. All right, as sisters, as the Johnson family. From what I'm gathering, you come from a musical family, a musical background. Set us up with that, the growing up Johnson family sisters journey.
Well, it was loud growing up.
Right on.
It was loud for sure. It's the three of us, and we have a brother. And my mom, she played the piano, and she was in charge of the church choir at the church we were born into. And my dad, he sings too, somewhat.
Wow.
But he, on both sides of the family, we had musical influence from great grandparents and things like that. And so even one of our relatives played with Count Basie. So it's like a long lineage of music, of singers and things like that, and musicians. And so we got it on us. And when we were little, our parents, they pretty much played everything for us, like played all kind of genres of music for us. And we really loved Disney records and things like that. And they bought us the record player and bought us all kind of records, vinyl records, which my mom still has to this day in her garage from when we were kids. And we started singing in the car, and it was a yellow Buick. Don't ask me what year, I do not even know.
Okay.
But it was a yellow Buick, the ones that didn't have seatbelts in the back. We were all just kind of sat on that row.
Yes.
That car.
Right
and we started singing in the back seat of the car of a record my mom was playing. And the rest is history. She looked back like, oh, okay, like y'all can sing. And we started harmonizing. We didn't know. We just picked parts we liked and we just sung it. So then the rest is history. She got us with another guy who his name was Larry Dennis, and he's well known in the musician world, playing at different churches and things like that. And the rest was history. Instead of us riding bikes and playtime, we were rehearsing. So.
How old were you at this time because you mentioned church, growing up there in the choirs, and then of course at home now, surrounded by the music that your parents, the eclecticness of the music you grew up with at home, and then the church addition as well. How old were you guys around this time when it started hitting you to say, when your mama said, well, wait a minute, y'all can sing? How old were you?
I was probably 7 or 8. That's probably like 7 or 8. Mom, you shaking your head in the back? My mom was right in front of us. I recall maybe being 7 or 8 when we actually had to sing in front of people. 5.
Wow.
You said 5?
She said 5, so I'm pointing out 5s. I was 7.
Okay.
Well, there you have it. I'm 5. At 5, do you remember? Not really, but hey.
I was 7, she was 5.
So there you have it.
And then all of a sudden, you said,
it started from us singing for our godfather's service. He was a deacon at the church.
I was like 9.
And we had professional dresses made. They were all white, and we sang this was our first debut, and from that point on, it was like word of mouth. All these different churches all over California would call for us to be a part of their program. Okay. Everything that we got, even coming out with the Isley Brothers, someone referred us. Yeah. His musical director knew somebody. He was looking for singers, and they referred us.
That was connected to Andrae, which we'll get into later. But
yeah. That's how we got with everything. Has been always word of mouth. And we never had really a manager. It was just God just moving us along where he wanted us to be.
Yeah. There you go. So your belief, your spiritual journey is also a strong part to you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's our backbone.
Tell me about that.
We grew up in the church.
Yeah.
Right on. There you go.
That's where it started.
My father eventually, after he was an elder, he went on to pastor a church as well. And so those roots have always been there. We go off and do our own thing, but we always come back to the foundation that our parents set before us, and that was God.
Yeah. I don't think it never leaves. It's one of those things that it's like, when the Bible instructs us, train up your child in the way that he should go. When you're old, you won't depart from it. And the thing about it is, it's like, it's never left us. And even with us singing and touring with secular artists, we still share the love of Jesus everywhere we go, and it's respected from the people that we work with. They respect it, and some people, they don't understand what it is. They'll say, you have something different about you. You have this light or this vibe, and that's what most creative people call it in that world. Yeah. But the thing about it is, the more and more you start to work with different people, you start to see, hey, these are PKs too, or they were raised in the church their whole life too, or they were, you know what I'm saying? That's true. I think it's like, the church is more than just 4 walls. It's you have to get out there. You have to get out there, and you have to share the love of Jesus everywhere you go, and in every workplace and in any field that you do. It's like you have that opportunity every single day to share. So, with us, it never leaves ever. It never leaves. It's our backbone. It's your lifeline. It's all of that. It's your oxygen. It's your way of breathing. So, that's
go ahead, Kim. Go ahead. See, I told you I'm a PK. And even before my father became a minister, right, we grew up in the church, of course, and that's where all of our singing started. So many of us, as your story and myself and others, and even our predecessors, some of the queens of soul, the Emotions, who are also watching this today as well, grew up as sisters in the church, and your story coincides a lot with even their, coming up in the church as sisters and then into the secular world, combining it, and much respect to Wanda, Jeanette, and everybody watching out there.
Hi, we love you ladies so much.
Man, we are huge fans.
We recorded Don't Ask My Neighbor, and we've never released it, but it's such, oh my gosh, we love you ladies so much.
We mimic them so much. Them and the Pointer Sisters, they paved the way for us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for watching us.
Yes, yes. And that's Wendy's mama.
All right, Wendy.
And much shout out. But you know what? And because your story, like, and I want to kind of piggyback on that too. Now engaged with Shirley Caesar and Andrae Crouch, who is one of my life mentors, big brothers growing up, and the messages and words of wisdom that you just shared, Kim, was like I was talking to Andrae again. Because, you know, so I know that what he passed on to me, he passed on to you. And
yes.
Shirley Caesar and so many. So now your journey is evolving into now your perform. What was it like, the Shirley Caesar, Andrae Crouch days? What was that hit you?
Wow. I'll start with Andrae. You know, Andrae, he was such a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, he wrote The Blood, To God Be the Glory. I mean,
I know.
He was such a genius, and working with him, he wasn't the type of artist that didn't pour into you, because we work with artists that kind of be like, I just want you to do this and that's it. No pouring into. Andrae poured into us, you know, and we got a chance to sing on multiple records with him, you know, and he really, we got an opportunity to do the songs with Michael Jackson through Andrae.
Go ahead.
Because he was doing all that stuff with Michael. And doing his first song that he did with him was Man in the Mirror, you know. And so from then on, he did the you know, the other songs we did. They Don't Really Care About Us, which is a very strong song for right now. You know, it's like we did so much with Andrae, and he was always, he's so creative, and his brain, just how his harmonies and things like that. And the thing about Andrae was, he was doing things in gospel music that was forbidden in the church. You know what I'm saying? That's right. When he put the music, Jesus is Lord and all that, and you listen to them bass lines and those chords, and you hear, you know, Crystal Merton, and you hear her singing in the background, and you hear Alfie Woodard, and you hear Carol Dennis, you hear the McQuarrie families, you hear the Orrin Waters families singing. Like, you have to be a legit singer.
Some of the best singers
in the world, like right now, still to this day. Like, you couldn't play around singing with Andrae Crouch.
And here we are, teenagers, the youngest there,
with Daniel Johnson, who's another great singer as well. No relation, but still, here we are, like she's saying, these teenagers, and we are singing with these giants, like these massive giants. And we have no idea.
Fantastic.
Like, we're just having fun. It didn't register to us who we were around until we got older.
Yeah.
Because Andrae was just Andrae, and he was funny, and we loved working with him. And he had another guy that worked with him, very brilliant. His name is Scott Smith. My Lord Jesus. Scott Smith, if anything, that was basically the discipline and basically the foundation of how we also got into studio singing, into doing records with other people. Because that foundation that they put into us, we still use those techniques and that discipline even now. As we record and as we did our country record, as we did our project, I mean, just them pouring into us about how to produce your records, how to vocal produce, how to write, all of that, from us being like 16, 17 years old to us being our age now.
Okay.
You still use that in your toolbox. You know, we have a toolbox, and we collected tools that we still use.
Come on,
so
that's it. So let me ask you this now, Kandy. Tell me about the queen, one of the queens of gospel, Shirley Caesar. How did that set up? And where did that happen? And what were the lessons, like Kim so eloquently just gave us, the Andrae Crouch experience, which I'm co-signing on all of that, because I can get it. But now the Shirley Caesar, what to give me your take on that?
We had a chance to work with Shirley, not as much as we did with Andrae, but we worked with her on this television show called Good News. It was kind of like Amen.
Yes.
So we're in the choir, me, my sisters, with Rose Stone, who was Sly Stone's sister.
right.
Ollie Woodson,
Yeah.
DJ Rogers,
Yeah.
Carol Dennis, the McQuarrie family. So every week, Billy Preston was the organist.
That's right.
And so we are in this choir singing weekly with all of these great people. And each week the show brought on different singers, Lou Rawls, Shirley Caesar,
Chaka
Khan. So we were like so fortunate to see different people every week. And Shirley Caesar was one. And we got a chance to just see how she works and just how anointed she is and just how sweet Mother Shirley is. And we've run into her many times on the red carpets at award shows, or, we had opportunities to stand on the side of the stage watching her perform. And so it's just anyone that we came in contact with, we would soak it up like a sponge, just to see how they did what they did and how the audience would respond to it. But there's nothing like the anointing. When you got it, you got it. Absolutely. You can't make that stuff up. No. Shirley Caesar she's just an anointed woman of God. Yeah. And it was a privilege to meet her and to be in her presence.
Yes, absolutely.
Ladies, you know what? And we're not even, we're just on a couple of steps of your journey. And I'm saying that to say that the foundation that I'm going to say starting back to when your mom turned around in the car and said, you know what, y'all sound good. All the way from that, now we're here with Shirley Caesar, Andrae Crouch, building that ball thread of positivity and education and learning of your craft, and now all of this time, was it the three of you now? Was it Krystal was with you at this time as well, right?
From the very beginning.
Yeah, Krystal was with us from the beginning.
She's the oldest.
Yeah, she's the oldest.
Okay. She's the oldest sister.
So we all started singing together all the way up to, I'd say, probably 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5
4 or 5 years ago, she decided she didn't want to do it anymore.
To retire.
Yeah, she's got 3 boys
and a girl.
She has two boys and a girl.
Okay.
2 boys and a girl, and she decided she just wanted to be a mom. And actually, she drives school buses
for the school.
Our kids go to. Yeah, so
there you go. Hey, thank her. That's essential worker. Thank you for for what she's doing.
Right.
Now let me ask you this. We know we've heard the stories and we know historically, what was the experience of being sisters, together as well as artists during this journey? Was there the sisterhood of it all? Give us that take on your sisterhood during this journey through that time.
It was busy, very busy during that time, because just to put everything into perspective, Kandy's married to phenomenal Mr. Ronald Isley. Krystal, our oldest sister, is married to the incomparable Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind & Fire.
Okay.
And so our lives were very, very busy because you have 2 of these huge legends and giants that have their own entities in itself, And so when we did get together and sing with Ronald, because we've been with him since 1998, then it's magic. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's nothing like singing with your sibling. Like, I've sang with a lot of great singers.
Yeah.
And, but it's different singing with your sister because it's that unknown, that you don't have to say anything. You could just feel it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like how the DeBargers and how the Emotions, you know what I mean? The Pointer Sisters and, the Jacksons and all them. It's just that harmony, that close-knit harmony that you guys share together that, it's
that distinguishes you from others.
Correct. Correct.
It's like they have their own sound.
Yeah. Everybody has their own identity print. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the sisterhood of us being together was very busy, but my parents, my mom, she comes from a very close-knit type family.
Okay.
And the rule was you never let anyone separate you. You never let anyone separate you from your brother, sister, from your family, because people did try, for sure. People did try to do that. And but at the end of the day, blood is thicker than water. You know what I'm saying? So we look out for each other in a way where I can say that, I can say that about my sister when it's me and her, but you can't. You understand what I'm saying? So that, it was great going through all these great experiences with my sisters and with that sisterhood, because even times where we're working with these great legends and you're scared and you're like, oh my God, there goes such and such or whatever. It was like you had that moment with your sister to share, like, just calm down. We're going to be good. We're going to get through this. And then we're going to act the fool in the car, So, so it was like, my mom was always very adamant about that. Like when she takes us auditions and we would go do the auditions for Disney, or we had to do something for Quincy Jones, and, we were all nervous about it. And she's just like, just be calm. They're just people. Just be calm, and do your thing. And then we'll go nuts in the car. So that still applies to this day.
What is your mom's name?
Denise.
Much respect, Sister Denise. Much respect to this the support of
He's going like this.
Wait on. Well, my whole positivity posse online is doing this too. So
thank God for my mom. She took us
Lord,
to every audition all over California. From Northridge to Hollywood, anywhere the auditions where she'd get in her car and drive us.
Even after a 9 to 5, she's like, let's go.
Wow.
So our work ethic comes a lot from her. With our work ethic, it comes a lot from her, for sure.
I mean, and it's evident to this day. Look at you. You're in the studio. You took a break from recording, working, developing, creating, and now you're doing this interview to spread this, spread your message, spread your positivity, and then back to work again, that whole foundation of starting. So tell us now, when did the decision to, well, you mentioned that Sister Krystal decided to leave, and then but during that time, is that when you were introduced to Barbra Streisand and singing at the White House with Bill Clinton? I got to know about that story. Tell me about how that developed. Not too many of us can say we've been at the White House, let alone standing next to Barbra Streisand,
Well, we haven't been to the White House yet, but thank you for speaking that into existence. We will be there soon.
Oh, I misunderstood.
I'll take all of that. I'll take all of that. It was actually the year that Bill Clinton was running in the nomination for the election. And it was a fundraiser, actually, that they were doing. And Barbra Streisand, she was one of the huge sponsors.
It was at her house, wasn't it?
No. It wasn't at her house. It was at the house of this guy. He owns all the Ralph's stores in California.
Okay.
And so he has this massive house out there, and he was one of the big, endorsers and things like that. And so Barbara was there, and she sang. We got a chance to sing with her, and then Bill Clinton and Hillary, they were all there, and then he came on stage, and we got a chance to meet him, and then he wanted a song to end because he's a musician too, so he wanted a song to end, and he wanted, Barbara pulled me up to sing God Bless America with her, and so that was a big moment, and even then at that time, I'm young and I still don't know who I'm up there with. I'm just having a good time.
How old were you? When that happened?
Oh, I was about 15, 16 years old.
What?
And didn't know who I was singing with. Yeah.
Well, what did you pull away, ladies, because in each journey, in each moment that you've mentioned, all of that's going into that bag of experience, of due payment, of learning and living. Coming away from that episode there, that moment in time, what did you put in your bags as artists after that event? What did you learn from that event?
Longevity, wanting to have longevity, because there's a lot of artists that, want that same thing, but it was just the start of being around other artists who had the longevity, like herself and like the Isley Brothers, 60 years,
Yeah.
And they've been through everything. They've seen everything, and they still sell out concerts. They still, and people are still listening to their music. Their music is still relevant even more today than it was when they first put it out, you know, and just the classiness of it, you know, and also being standing up for what they believe in. And even in what's going on now, you have the songs like Harvest for the World, which the Isley Brothers put out, and it's very, you know, it's a timely song even for this day. And Fight the Power, same thing, you know. And you just look at it and you're seeing that how these celebrities are using their voice, you know, for change. You know, Barbara Streisand, she's definitely behind Joe Biden. And the thing that she did for George Floyd's daughter was just simply incredible. You buy this little girl shares in Disney, like, really? You know, it's like she's using her voice to bless and to help other people, you know. And that's the thing about it, that's the artist that I desire to be, is where I can still be used by God, even in a secular platform, you know. So that's really, really major. That's what I took away coming, you know, at that age, coming from that experience. So
now, you know what, ladies, I'm led to ask you this now because, you know, you're making us aware, educating us too on your journey as artists and as songwriters, as performers, as singers that you are. What do you feel that the purpose of the artist is? What's an artist's purpose?
Well, you know, there's many types of artists out there, you know. Music is a universal language, though, that brings people together. It always has. But the purpose is to basically make people feel good, to take them on a journey. Whatever your story is about, whatever you're singing about, you're taking that person on a journey. So they're going to either feel happy, they're going to celebrate, they're going to feel in love, they're going to feel the songs that like a breakup, heartache, heartbreak. They're going to feel songs of worship if you're singing worship and giving praise to God. An artist is to take those words and bring them to life for the person that's listening.
Yes.
So when you can articulate and you can take those words and draw the listener in to that song, whatever message you have, and it affects them in such a powerful way, you know, there's no gimmick to it. A real artist, they can take those words. Like my husband, I always tell him, "You should record that, honey. You should record." And he's like, he'll roll his eyes like, because I'm like, honey, you can sing the phone book, which is true.
That's very true.
He has that.
Undisputed.
He can sing bubblegum, and he's gonna make you want a piece of bubblegum.
Exactly. That's right.
So there are artists, and then there are people that can sing and they just have a nice voice. An artist is able to take you there. They are able to captivate you, make you stop in your tracks to listen to what they have to say.
They can take a blank canvas and make a masterpiece.
Yes.
That's what an artist is.
Yes.
Come on now.
You know, and Billy Preston, he wrote this song called Music is the Voice of God. And I'll never forget hearing that when he was coming up with it on the piano, you know, and on his organ. And just that line in itself just lets you know how powerful music really is, because it can, like she's saying, it can capture each and every moment and each and every emotion you will ever feel. Somebody has written a song about it, you know? So, and even, you know, creatives in general, you know, you have artists that paint and you can feel that emotions. You have photographers that even you see all these pictures that are on the news and you can feel that emotion even though you weren't there, you know? So I just think that creatively God has put a gift in each person that is unique and no one has the same thing, you know? And a lot of people want to do it and have a desire to do it and have the heart to do it, but it also takes the endurance, the passion for it, and you got to just keep going at it. And if you're called to do it, then you're called to do it, you know? So, and I think that right now with the quarantine, like how you're being creative and we're being creative, it's causing everybody to get out of the norm and actually use the creativity they've been sitting on for so long, you know? And you're seeing some phenomenal things happening, you know.
Or just find a way to get it out, you know.
Yeah.
When you're born to do what you do, we're all finding creative ways to get the message out.
Yes.
That's right.
Because music will never die.
Never.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
And not just because I'm a musician myself, but I believe so many millions can co-sign on that. You know, because even for the ones who may not be singers or may not be musicians. And first of all, before I get into that, much respect for everything you all just said right there, to the detail, as the responsibility of artistry or the purpose of artistry, man. I remember being, I'm going to say, blessed at a young age to have Nina Simone as one of the ones to, and her being able to firsthand sit there and tell me. I remember I wrote my first little song with my sister, and we were so proud, and we sat there and played it, you know, after dinner, and we played it. My dad said, "Hey, you know, play the song," and we played the song. It was called "What Is Love," and I learned my chords, and my sister wrote the lyrics, and we did the song. And I'll never forget, and she sat back and you know, and said, "Oh," and I really couldn't read and you know, us as artists, I don't know if we are our own biggest critics sometimes. I just wanted to pull up on the fact. But then she said, "Yeah, you all can sing. It's a fantastic song. It's a great, but now what are you going to do with your artistry?" She said, "Now, what are you going to do now that you know you can write a song? Now that you know that you can deliver a song?" So I always, you know, growing up with that in my own little, you know, bag of do's and don'ts, you know, like I like to say, I always love to ask other artists, because we all have had individual journeys, which you all have been so open to share, you know, with us today. Do you feel that there is an ingredient in the message of music now that may be lacking, or is it there and we just don't hear it? What's your feel on the state of the message of music now?
It's definitely different. Okay. It's definitely different. And the thing about it, I was just talking to my mom and I, we were listening to oldies and things like that, and just listening to the songs, and I was thinking about how for her time, the songs that they came out with were risky and kind of like, you know, for her grandparents. And it's like with each generation, it's like the songs that my son listens to, he's 8, and he likes Travis Scott, and he listens to him, you know, from Fortnite and things like that. And he knows, Mom, I want, you know, he knows I don't play that. He has to have the clean version when he's doing all of that other stuff. Right. And but for me, I listen to it and I'm like, you know, but it's like, again, music has the power, has so much power, you know, and you have to be careful what you put out, because sometimes most of the time that music is going to outlast you. You know what I'm saying? Like especially if it's like a big hit, you know, and that's why it's like, you have to be careful about what you put out. And I believe that the artists that, you know, that are putting out music, they believe in it. They absolutely believe in it. And that's how they feel at that time for their journey. So, you know, it's not knocking anybody at all. It's just saying that, you know, that's where people are, you know, that's where they are. And that's what they tend to, you know, that's what you're going to put out. And so I think music is definitely changed, because you don't have, you don't have the Arethas, you know what I'm saying? You don't have, you know, you don't have the Sam Cookes, you know, you don't have a lot of people that's putting out music that has substance, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's very emotional. It's what they're feeling at that time, you know? And I personally, you know, want to be a timeless classic writer, you know? And I want to put out music that means something, you know, that my son will be proud of, and he can see that. He won't, you know, be like, "Oh man, Mom, that was rough," you know. I want to put out something that, you know, will, of course, is going to outlive me, you know, and songs that, you know, 60 years from now, I'm looking at them like, wow, okay, another fantastic artist, like another Jennifer Hudson 60 years from now, or whoever, phenomenal person or Fantasia has come out to redo the record, so music is definitely on its journey, I think on its way back around, you know what I'm saying? Because people are being more creative and people are writing songs that are dealing with what's going on today in the world. Alicia Keys has written a song, John Legend has written a song. And those types of songs are almost like, the what's going on of what Marvin Gaye wrote,
Gotcha.
So I do believe that music is definitely going to always come back around. It's going to always come back around. So
I'll say
Please.
this.
Please.
A good song will always stand the test of time. It'll always be around.
Absolutely.
And I've learned that from my husband,
Yes.
who's been blessed to have 60 plus years in this business.
And has blessed many of us. That's right.
Yes. And so those songs will always last. A good song will always last. And so that's everyone's dream, is to have those types of songs that people want to sing years and years and years from now. And they are blessed. Not everyone has been able to do that. No. And when God puts his hands on you and say, this is what I'm going to do, that's what he's going to do. Right. You can't make it up. You can't force it. You can't. That's just what happens. And we all pray that happens, that God, that you give us something that, people will want to sing all over the world, that will touch people's hearts when it's a song that people want to listen to over and over and over and over for many, many years. You can think of a song that you've heard, and every time you hear it, it's like, man, this song just never gets old. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There are songs, and then there are songs.
That's right. That's right.
My husband's first hit was Shout. And I've heard this story all the time, but he was just making that up as he saw people dancing and shouting in the audience. Yeah. He made the song up on the spot, and he will tell you to this day that was God that allowed him to have that moment. And that song has carried him in his career all these years. It's the biggest selling song for the Isley Brothers.
Come on now.
And we all pray and want those types of songs in our life.
Yes.
And we work hard to find those songs that have substance, that make people feel good.
Yeah.
Those will never get old.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's almost like, and like you said, I'm just letting this lead because just to piggyback on what you all just said now, in my opinion, and the emails that I've started to get, in so many others' opinion, and so many other people's opinion as well now, Kim and Kandy are definitely on that route. Meaning, not just singers, but singers. That's the first thing. You all can sing. Let's start at the singing. Then we're going to go to performers, all right? When I put that video up, ladies, that clip, and all I did at first was the clip of your song, Free. The song is free. I'm going to keep saying that. And what was presented on that video, just in the clip, in my opinion and to so many others, was proof positive of artist, number one, dedicated to their craft, number two, knows exactly what they're doing, number three, and then lyrically spreading a message to the world that is much needed, artistically spreading their message to the world through the lyrics of this song, Free. And the fact that that message is something that must be kept. The whole delivery of that song, what you're saying in the song, the socialness of that song, the community of that song. I'm going to even say the politics reference in certain parts of that song, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the humanity of that song, the spirituality of that song is universal. And in my opinion, that is a set up to everything you just mentioned of having a message to be delivered generationally, even after you're gone, after I'm gone, for that music and that message of that music to stay. Now, with that, And I can't wait to get into the whole story of that song, Free. But I must, first of all, give respect to Kim and Kandy in doing the genre of country and western. All right. Now, please educate for some of us who may say, wow, two sisters, country and western. I'm trying to connect it. All right. Now, educate and then give us the story behind the whole reasoning and understanding and wanting to do the country and western feel and arena.
She's gonna give it to me.
Okay,
so on both sides, we have family that are from Birmingham, Alabama, and from Prentiss, Mississippi. Okay. And let's just say when they migrated to California, they didn't leave the South behind. And so my grandmother, she's from Birmingham, Alabama, and she loved country music. She loved listening to the Barbara Mandrell and those sisters, and she even bought their makeup line and all that stuff. But our family, listening to country music, we're kids, we were very, very young listening to it. And
that was what was on her TV.
So. That was on her TV. It was that and TBN. That later
Randy Travis,
Kenny
Rogers, Dolly Parton. We had to sit there and listen to what she was listening at, whether we wanted to or not.
Like it was just, that's just what it was. And she would say, hey, I want you to learn this song. And we go, okay, grandma, and then she's like, when you come back over, you better know this song. And we'd be like, okay, and then she still asks us,
did you learn that song? So, oh, it's so pretty.
You
gotta learn that song.
Yeah. So it was country music or hymns. You know what I'm saying? It was country music or hymns. That was it. That's all you had was country music or hymns. That's it. Okay. And so and it's been Ken Burns put out a phenomenal documentary about country music, and it was on PBS. You could see it now, and it is very, very, very detailed. And a lot of people don't know that country music comes from Africa. The banjo is an African instrument, okay? And the songs that were sung were hymns and folk songs and things like that.
Country music has done this, It started a certain way, then it came here, then it did this, and now you have it to what it is now.
Right.
It has changed so much,
Yeah, but it's originated from Africa, and the stories and all of that.
And just blues.
It went from storytelling to blues to it went from storytelling to hymns to blues. And the Ken Burns documentary gives you the whole spiel from the very beginning until what country music is. And that's the thing, the beauty of country music is you're telling stories.
Yes.
And they tell such amazing, beautiful stories. And then you have the other stories where, okay, my wife left me, my dog died. You have those too,
Back to the blues, right?
Then you have the which is blues is connected to country as well. And so, it's like you can talk about anything, but then it's like then you have that strong foundation of the hymns within country music. Like Carrie Underwood did a beautiful rendition of what was the song? She did it on the Country Music Awards, and it was a
gospel song.
Yeah, it's a hymn.
How Great Thou Art.
Ah, classic. Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so the hymns are very, 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 very big in country music, and so that was perfect for us because one, we love singing gospel music, hymns right there, and then we love the harmonies, and we love the storytelling.
I think R&B has gotten away from storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has gotten away from the real of what it was when Aretha and Marvin Gaye and all of those writers they wrote, and Sam Cooke, what I'm saying? They wrote really good songs.
Right. Change is gonna come.
It's like R&B, it started over the years it's like watering itself down, taking the real authentic sound of what R&B music was from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so we have not left it. The only thing is we just just put a spin on. We added some guitars, you know. We added some banjo on there, which we like. You know,
harmonica.
I mean, no, I did this.
Yeah,
we did harmonica to our songs because we like that. We love that feel, you know.
We added both worlds. We added inspirational, which is Christian CC, and we've added those elements in. We've added the blues, we've added the R&B, and we've added the country. So it's like it's a melting pot of
all the things we've listened to over the years coming together in the song.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, ladies. What is it? How have you been received within the country music world right now?
Very blessed, to be honest. Very blessed. God has definitely been with us through this entire journey. And God has literally set us up with other Christians, you know, like this guy, his name is Brian White, and he has 15 #1 hits in country music, and he is a believer. His wife is a Christian artist.
And he writes for some of the top country artists.
And so the people that God has surrounded us with, it's like when we started the journey with them in the beginning till now, I mean, in the beginning, they're, you know, kind of shied away from the, you know, the Christian thing, and now, and, you know, just said whatever they wanted to say. But now when we're around them, it's like, you know, they watch their mouth. They're like, oh, wait, you can't say that. We're like, nope, we ain't saying that. So when we write with these other writers who have not really been exposed to the gospel the way that we have, they now are like, okay, all right, just paying attention a little bit more, you know? But that's because of the standards that we have set for ourselves in this industry. And we enjoy it. You know, we enjoy when we go to Nashville and we do this thing they call rounds. And what happens is it's like, it's us and like 3 other writers, and they all get a song a piece, and you go around and around, and maybe like 3 or 4 of us, and everyone does a song a piece of, you know, their hits and their things that they've done. And so here we are, these 2 beautiful African-American queens with, you know,
there you go. That's right. There you go.
with you know, with these other beautiful people, you know, and who have beautiful hearts, you know, and we love writing with them. And here they are singing their songs, and then here we are singing our songs. And the response is like, when you first get up there, you're kind of like, okay. They're looking at us like, what y'all about to do? And we looking at them like, we about to do this. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't know, but we about to do this, okay?
Yeah, like, you don't go to these bars and see 2 Black women
never
in Nashville.
They're like,
sitting up on the stage.
You
don't see that every day, okay?
What y'all doing?
And we know this.
Yeah.
But we're okay. We're like, just calm down. We'll
be
be all right.
Give us 1 second.
Yeah.
1 second. And so we start our song, and then
you got the song that we sing is called
What Goes Around Comes Around.
And when I say it's country vibe,
it is hillbilly.
Oh my God.
Right on.
But it's so fun. It's so fun. Cool. And we started, and they're like, oh, okay. Well, they're like, all right, that was a good one. That was good. And we go through our.
They get the same expression every song.
Every song. I got you.
Yeah,
but you
they're
know,
like, well,
what though? That's beautiful, man, because my love for country music goes really deep. It was and it was my grandfather from North Carolina. Country music, I mean, we grew up on it, man. We grew up on it, and my love and then growing up in Memphis too was like, you know, an additional thing, you know, that whole country. Yeah. I believe country music is some of the most beautiful music, and like you said, some of the most beautiful stories ever artistically written and expressed. Much respect to country music, which leads me, ladies, to this. As I mentioned, I'm going back to now, which has become one of my favorite songs in Video Free. Give us the concept of Free. How did that song develop?
We were in Nashville, and we actually have, by now, we probably have we've written about 21 to 22 songs.
Fantastic.
And this producer, his name is Doug Johnson, no relation to us. There's another Johnson. But he is brilliant. He's brilliant. He's well known, well respected in the country world, a huge heavyweight in the country world. He's responsible for like Kelsey Ballerini and a few other major artists. And Robin Ruddy, we met Robin Ruddy. She and I were old bandmates when I was on tour with Rod Stewart. And she played banjo and she played dobro and my other bandmates, they knew how much I loved country music and that my sister and I, we were going to start writing our project. And they would hear me on the bus writing on the phone with Kandy as I'm going through different cities and hear ideas. And they were like, hey, you and Robin need to hook up because Robin, she bought Randy Travis's old studio that's on Music Row in Nashville. And so I gave her a call and we hooked up in Nashville and we got a chance to talk. And then I came back from that tour and I called Kandy. I'm like, hey, we need to hook up this lady, she's super great. And so we did. And she was the one that's actually connected us with so many of these great writers because she's so well respected in the music world too. And so about 4 years ago, she was like, hey, you guys need to, what would be really great if you guys wrote with Doug Johnson. And we were like, okay, yeah, let's hook it up. And so she was like, it's probably going to be really impossible to do because he's really busy and he's very picky about people that he writes with. And he can do that because he's Doug Johnson. And so we were like, okay, well, we would love to ride with him. And we drove back to St. Louis and we're like, hey, Lord, if it's your will for us to ride with him, then we're going to ride with him. And so I went back to California and maybe like a week later or something, Robin calls up and says, hey, Doug said he wants to ride with you guys, but he only has these days available, this date available, this one night available. And we're like, okay. So I got back on the plane, flew to St. Louis. We drove from St. Louis to Nashville. And we were able to write 2 songs with him. And
we thought we were just writing
one. That's it. We thought we were writing one song because he was like, no, he has time to do one. And so we did that song. It's a great song. The song's called Gonna Cost You Everything. And then the other song, we were sitting there like, this was great. We're all kind of packing up. We're just like, cool. We're getting ready to go back to the hotel. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And then he just kept pacing back and forth. And then he comes back and he sits down and he says, hey, girls, do you guys want to be brave? And this was 4 years ago when around the time of the election. And
just before the election.
And all this, ugliness had reared its head. And a lot has happened. And we were very heartbroken about things that were going on, as we are now. And so he's like, you guys want to be brave? And we're like, yeah. And then the first line he said, we just was like, oh, Lord Jesus. Okay. Wow. Okay. We're like, and so from that point on, we were writing and he's telling him about our family and our family history. And then the words just all started coming together and we're crying. And I mean, it was just a divine writing session. It was crazy. It was the out-of-body experience. Yeah. Like, seriously.
Yeah. I had to leave the studio room because I didn't want them to see me do the ugly cry. So I kept getting up. Yeah. And then there was time where I just couldn't help it and they passed me the box of tissue. It was that moment in writing this song because here it is, 2 African American women in the room with two white people writing songs together.
Writing this song.
And we're coming together like this.
Yes. And they're feeling our heart and they're having empathy for what's
going on in the world and just everything. And they know what we're trying to do. We're trying to break into their country, which has been shut off from blacks. They kind of shut it off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you can't do this. And they know, everyone knows. And so here we are in 2016, sitting here in a writing session. And the song Free comes about. And like, after we were finished writing, it was like silence in the room.
It was just
silent. Was like sombering.
Yeah.
It was like, what just happened?
Exactly. And then he had heard some of our songs prior to doing the session with us. And so he said, okay, girls, just go ahead and do your thing, And most producers, when you write with them, they kind of want to you know, they kind of want their hand in your sound. But Kandy and I, we know our sound so well that we were like, we produce everything. You know, we've done everything with this record, written, produced. I mean, you name it, we've done it all. And so when we got ready to cut the record with the band, oh boy, that was an experience in itself, because all these, mind you, it's just Kandy and I who are the only African Americans in this room, and we're with these phenomenal, you know, players. And we do the first song, and that's fun. Everybody's like, oh, that's gonna be great. That kind of sounds, you know, like such and such, or that's gonna be good. And we're like, yeah. Then here comes Free, and we're like, and they have to come in, and they come in the studio, and this is the first time they're hearing it, and they're hearing it, and they're looking at the lyrics, and they're like, this is really heavy stuff, you know. And we were like, yeah, but you know, they're like, we're with you, let's do it. And they
all an all-white band playing on this record that you hear. But we've all come together, which is another beautiful story in itself.
Exactly. Oh my
goodness. And they played beautifully.
And it was like they were, after we did it, they were just hugging us, and you know, a few of them cried, and it was like, wow, we love you girls so much, and you know, we're here to support you in any way that we can. And that was really, really big, really, really major, to show that even from that moment that, you know, we're on our way into a big, huge reconciliation. And a lot of churches have fasted and prayed in 2020 for 2020 vision. I think we all have it now. And we can see things more clearer than ever before. And every church has prayed for revivals. I think we're living in that right now, you know, where you're seeing people all over the world come together for the sake of love, unity, and equality for everybody. You know, it's like God doesn't just see your color. He, you know what I'm saying? He sees the blood that he shed for each and every one of us. And that's the thing. We all bleed exactly the same. And once I think people get past that forgiveness and that hurt, then that's you're gonna really, really see a big, huge move of God in this land and across the world, you know. But the U.S., the world is watching the U.S. All eyes is on the U.S. right now, you know. And this is our opportunity to stand up and to, you know,
be united,
like we say we are, you know. And you know, but it all starts from forgiveness, and that's why that line, I believe he heals the scars and all the brokenheartedness, and that's why you see all this hate and all this craziness, because people are hurting, and people have issues that they need to forgive, because I believe like that whole racism is taught, you know. And I've had this conversation with my son, he's 8, and even through this whole pandemic and the quarantine, and seeing the riots and the protesting and things like that. And my son, I had to talk to him, because he's realizing that his friends don't look like him, but that doesn't matter to him. All he cares about is, I like them, they like me, we play Fortnite, we're good, we're cool, right? He doesn't understand it. And I think that it's like, again, it's things that you're being taught, you know, in your families, things that were being taught. Like there's a lot of things that we were taught, you know. But
it was never to hate. In our household, we were never taught to hate another race.
Never.
We were taught to respect other people.
Yeah.
My parents introduced us to, like we said, all types of music.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that.
No, we didn't have that growing up. Right, not at all.
Ladies. And I when you look back, and you'll be able to see the comments that are flowing on, I know on mine here, I mean, and I'm pretty sure on yours and everybody else's, you hitting some chords. You're hitting some chords. You're hitting some souls, you know. You got some, you know what I'm going to do? If you don't mind, on the connection of what you just said, I'd like to play this video for our Positivity Posse right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the story you just heard from the heart of these ladies, these artists, these protesters in their artistic way, you know, these groundbreakers that you just heard in so many ways. I want to play this video, and then I'm going to come back after this video But Wendy, if you would do us that favor and let's enjoy Free for a minute. So Wendy, there's no sound. Sound.
Great-great-grandmother was separated from her only brother. He was bought and sold to another field to work his life away. For generations we kept this letter. Her baby's gonna have it better. This hell can't go on forever, and this is what she prayed. Shine. I believe that God's not blind. I believe He heals the scars and all the broken hearts, and I believe the day will come. No one's gonna hate no one, and this broken world will see only love can set us free. Not the dead end of a gun. That's how he lived his life, made and paid the sacrifice in the shadow of the cross that held his son. He sang, I believe the sun will shine. I believe that God's not blind. I believe He heals the scars and all the broken hearts, and I believe the day will come. No one's gonna hate no one, and this broken world will see only love can set us Angel of mercy, spread your wings and fly. Free us from the need of understanding why. Let's just hope we learn from the past and have the faith that my great-great-grandma had. I believe the sun will shine. I believe that God's not blind. I believe He heals the scars and all the broken hearts, and I believe the day will come. No one's gonna hate no one, and this broken world will see only love can set us free. Only love can set us My great-great-grandmother was separated from her only brother. He was bought and sold to another field to work his life away.
Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. What did you say now? I believe the sun will shine. I believe that God's not blind.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that isn't a message of positivity for the world, I don't know what it is. Right there is why we're doing the Positivity Posse every weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we get on here, my brother Christopher, my sister Julie, and Wendy Vaughn, take the time to come on, and we ain't CNN, we're not a big, but we're just some artists and people that say, hey, wait a minute, y'all. we believe the sun is gonna shine, and we believe that God ain't blind neither.
That's right.
What we're trying to do,
That's right.
Whoo, ladies, see what I'm saying? That is following in the footsteps of Gil Scott-Heron's message that he did with his thing. That's following in the footsteps of Nina Simone that gave her voice, that we gotta hold on and keep that hope. Yeah. That connected through all the people in your journey, Shirley, Caesar, Andrae Crouch, the dedication of your husband and his brothers through Fight the Power, and on and on and on, Sam Cooke and so many. That's what this song does to me. And the emails that I keep getting is that's what it's doing for the world. Ladies, thank y'all so much for coming on here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We have got to, if you don't mind, we would love to do a keep in touch. So, a couple of episodes so we can, you Positivity Posse family now. You can't get away from it.
Yeah, we love that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Wendy, thank you so much, girl. We could not do this technique thing without Wendy Vaughn. Thank
you, Wendy.
Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, and I know the ladies, and once again, thank you, ladies. I'm gonna keep in touch, and we'll be back. And my emotion is here, but it's a positive thing. It's a positive thing. Thanks to y'all. Positivity, yes, Positivity Posse. You heard it. You heard it from their words. You heard it from their message. You heard it from their life journey. And the ladies who were just on screen with us, Kim and Kandy of the Johnson family of California, that spread their message, grew their life's journey in artistry and music, and have kept their connection of self that is now expressed through this song and this journey into the country music world. Much respect to them, to their family, to their journey, to their lives. And Positivity Posse, thank you for coming on here again today. I love you. All we want to do is spread this message of positivity, put some smiles on some faces, and any language that we can put that smile on your face, we're trying to put it on there, And like I always say, come get some of this positivity on you. Take a bath in it, take a shower in it, scuba dive in it, and some of y'all may want to skinny dip in it. I don't care. All I want you to do is get in that positivity pool. Let it drench your soul, your mind, your body. And when you come out of that positivity, sprinkle it on as many people as you can, y'all, because that's what it's all about. Keep believing, love and happiness, and we'll see you next time on the Victor Brooks Show.